Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for NASDAQ price prediction based on Elliott wave analysis. As you can see, NASDAQ yesterday and today we are continuing this massive drop toward the downside as expected, of course, towards our blue box here. And we have so far, of course, tackled all this area with those scenarios where we have, of course, A, B, C, three waves toward the downside. You have a W, X, and a Y to finish a wave B potentially here in your A, B, and a C expanding flat. Your target as an expanding flat are the 1.38, 1.618 for a wave C in an expanding flat. And here we go. We're moving straight forward to it right now as potentially 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Now, the problem with this scenario is that we have here an interrupted impulse inside this move here, where you can find only an impulse in this area, but the other part of this area is a very corrective due to the overlapping, and as well, of course, the wave 4 has invalidated any kind of impulse starting from this part here. As a 1, 2, 3, 4, you have interrupted your impulse toward the downside, meaning, of course, invalidation. And that brings us, of course, for a corrective wave potentially here, where we are looking into a bigger zigzag. And of course, I was mentioning in this scenario that we might hit, of course, the 1-to-1 fib level here for the zigzag, and this was a direct hit and even overshooting the 1-to-1 fib level, meaning directly moving straight forward to the blue box as 1.38, 1.618. So this is definitely an impulse unfolding right here. So I have no other choice, even that there is some invalidations here for the impulse. We might, of course, then transfer it into 1, A, B, and a C for a wave 2, for a finished wave 1, and then moving for a wave 3. And that because, of course, the indication here of this massive impulse hitting the 1-to-1 fib level and even overshooting it. So the chart is telling us, regardless to the interruption that we had here as a corrective wave, we can, of course, transfer this as a very weird corrective wave, A, B, and a C for a wave 2 here after an impulse for a wave 1. And considering this is a wave 3, because now the highest possibility is that this is a wave 3. However, of course, in both case scenario, we have tackled our target 1-to-1 fib level, and of course, as a precaution, we kept our 1.38 and 1.618 as a blue box, which it has to be hit. And of course, this is gonna finish an expanding flat here for a wave C. However, what I see still is even much bigger, something much bigger than this. I don't see only an expanding flat anymore. I see something much bigger. And if you're asking why, that because, of course, of the massive impulse that you are looking at here, this wave 3 is not done yet. It's gonna extend even for more, and even it's gonna surpass the blue box potentially and hitting our yellow line. You know, the yellow line, as we mentioned before, it is a 16K here, which is a recession signal. And just by looking, of course, at this impulse toward the downside, you have to expect anyway a 4 and a 5. And that means that the recession is coming soon or later, which is not really nice for the market. However, as I mentioned in the live stream the last week, be careful, it's gonna be a very tense week. It's gonna be very strong, and we might, of course, get a signal for the recession. And here we go. So the next target right now is, of course, to fill this blue box. Since we have overshooted the 1-to-1 fib level, I believe the 1.618 will be hit soon or later and finish, of course, a wave 3, because your wave 3 even itself is not finished by a 4 and a 5. Of course, still looking for it as a wave 3 finished, and then 4 and a 5 again to hit that yellow line. And yeah, we're gonna have to take it from there. Don't forget, a recession is gonna unfold even a longer move toward the downside. Let's go a little bit in a bigger view here on the daily. So on the daily, what does it mean? On the daily, it means if we take this target, we have, of course, to invalidate this impulse. Let me check this one. Yeah. So we have, of course, here a 1, 2, 3. Now we're looking for a wave 4 potentially, or let's say it is double 1, 2. It doesn't matter. This correction can be a wave 2 or it can be a wave 4. It depends on the price action after it. But the thing is that even whatever it is a 1 2 1 2 here, or if it is a big 1 2 and then 3 4 and a 5, the price action taking this line at 16K, meaning invalidation for any kind of impulsive waves from here. That because if you are in a 1 2 and you're looking at 3, wave 4 is not allowed, of course, to hit the wave 1, the zone 1, which is of course an invalidation. In another scenario, if you have a 1 2 and then another 1 2 here, the momentum of double 1 2 is broken. It is very rare case scenario that you get a double 1 2 with a bigger 1 2 here, and that your wave 2 takes much more time than the previous one, and even with a bigger wave. So that means, of course, a both case scenario will be invalidated once you hit, of course, the 16K. In this case scenario, we're moving towards the downside. It opens another scenario for an A, a B, and a C expanding flat again. And that means, of course, the recession is gonna be a double time what we just saw as a drop. And that means what you saw here is gonna repeat again one more time until you reach potentially the area here, take the low, or potentially at least turning it into a running flat, for example, and having like 5 impulsive wave and start to move toward the upside from here. So we have to be careful with it. Of course, we're gonna reanalyze after hitting this blue box and of course hitting the yellow line, and of course step by step. That was it for NASDAQ Trade Safe. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comments, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.